Well, today is a big day for my team and I. We are making our first ever start with the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series here at the Skagit Speedway for the Sagefruit Skagit Nationals. It feels good to be in the Pacific Northwest for my first ever World of Outlaws start, a track I'm familiar with, I ran a ton of laps at, and actually got my first ever 360 win at 1 year ago today. So I'm absolutely excited, feeling a little bit nervous to run with the big dogs. We've ran quite a few challenging races so far in 2021, so no different than any of those races. Tonight is exactly the same, but it's just technically with a different series. So welcome back to today's video. This is definitely a milestone moment in my career. I feel like everything I've learned since I started in 2009 in outlaw karts and dreaming of running with the greatest show on dirt one day, all that experience I've learned has prepared me for this moment. So we are going to be executing all that today for night number 1 of the Sagefruit Skagit Nationals. As far as what tonight's format is going to look like, it's a true outlaw format. We're going to have engine heat, hot laps, and then right into single car qualifying. And qualifying with this series is so important. Quick time's gonna start on the pole of the first heat race, second quick is gonna start on the pole of the second heat race, and the worse you qualify, the farther you start down. So it's important to be up on the wheel for those 2 laps, and then the rest of the night you just have to be aggressive and try to make it happen. So we're gonna get tonight started. Let's head back to the trailer and we are gonna be getting suited up soon. Well, my first laps in a 410 here at Skagit are complete. That horsepower makes me smile every time. Didn't feel that great out there, mainly just because we didn't get hot laps, because actually in hot laps we had like a huge set of problems. We had an issue where our front wing popped up. Also, our right rear had gotten cut in between rolling up to staging, so it was losing air out there. So that threw off our setup of our 1 lap we got, and it was just overall a little bit of a disaster, but we came in, regrouped, and then we were the 4th car out for qualifying out of 23. The main thing is I just felt really tight out there. 3 and 4 on my second lap didn't feel bad. I felt like I was able to get rotated and come off low, but 1 and 2 I would just get this death hop and kind of get on the right rear and just wasn't able to stick my line. So we're gonna make a lot of adjustments. We had not ran a 410 here at Skagit before, so just little things we're gonna play with. I think we can definitely change our stagger and also our gear. All those things will help us get in the proper RPM range and get the AT&T tuned up a little bit. So I'm gonna go watch the rest of qualifying. I haven't even really got a chance to watch anyone else tonight, and that is super important. These guys are extremely good. We got to be on our A game, and we kind of got some of our hiccups out of the way before the rest of the night. So our outlaw heat race is up next. We are in heat 2 of 3 after qualifying, I think 20th or 21st. The racetrack's still lightning quick. I think that kind of right through the middle is going to be the line. They tried to widen out a little under the brake, but ultimately it's going to be fast, and I think it's just slowly going to start slicking off throughout the night. So we roll off from 7th. Let's get some good laps. We start right behind Brad Sweet. Well, the pace of a 410 heat race is absolutely nuts. Like, you stand on the gas, you get going forward, and you just never really slow down. The track here at Skagit was really good there around the bottom, and then by the last heat race, it actually moved right to the middle, and they are just wide open with their right rear in the dark stuff. Everyone was really, really fast. My first couple of laps kind of felt all right, and I felt like I got more of a rhythm between more like lap 5 and 10. For my heat, it was mainly around the bottom, and you just had to drive hard down to it, and something I really need to work on, I'll admit, that I just got to get better at in the 410 is even if you miss the bottom, like the racetrack is starting to slicken off and lose a little bit of grip, but with the 410, you can just keep your foot in the throttle and the tires spin, but you're still moving forward, and I feel like that's a little bit different compared to a 360 or a limited, so that's just a concept I need to be better at. I felt like the changes we made to the car, though, helped it a ton, so we're going to make some more changes before the A-main event. I believe it's going to be 30 laps. There's only 2 classes tonight, so it's going to be a quick show. I think the racetrack's going to slicken off, though, a ton in the feature. So they just sounded the 8-minute horn here with the World of Outlaws. Skagit Speedway did actually a good amount of track prep, and I was a little bit surprised because to me it almost looked like a dyno session in the redraw with the 6.410s out there that are going to start in the top 6, mainly around the high side and not really around the bottom. But they worked the bottom a good amount and they worked the top and tilled it up. So I definitely think there's going to be a lot of grip and you're going to be able to run the car really hard. We made a ton of adjustments, and also we're going to have the fuel load. So we're going to see how the 18T handles. We're rolling off from deep, but like I said, I mean 30 laps around Skagit, we're in the A, we're gonna get all those laps in valuable time behind the wheel of a 410. So we're just, you know, living the dream, being here, running with the World of Outlaws, the greatest show on dirt. But man, I'd really like to pass some cars and continue to get comfortable, and as we try to get our car better for the next 2 nights. I guess that's a blessing, you know, 3 nights in a row at Skagit. We should have this place down, I would think, by Sunday night after the end of it. So I'm gonna hop in, get strapped in, and we'll be pushed out for 30 laps here around Skagit.
get a bumper.
This one's pushed back, which I think we can.
Well, not the ending to my Outlaw debut that I was hoping for. Tore up the front end pretty good. That's obviously a look at our nose wing. Not salvageable besides a couple of souvenirs. And the front axle's not that bad either, really, besides we just need a front axle. Plenty of these components will be able to bolt on to another axle. But still, that whole situation off of turn 2 sucks. I definitely take a little bit of responsibility for it, but a couple of things happened that I feel like caused the car to get sideways and then was just, you know, in front of oncoming traffic. But overall, the A main event was actually going pretty good. You know, with only 23 cars here, we have just enough for a full field, but once you start climbing into like the top 15, I mean, you are racing with so many fast guys. I think I started 19th and I passed a couple of cars here and there, worked the bottom a little bit because they worked it, also ran the top side, and actually felt good. We made changes before the A and the car handled way better. And still, I just need to work on driving it a little bit harder, and I'm actually happy we just got this whole first night out of the way because now I know what to expect for night 2, 3, and 4. Just kind of get back in the swing of things, figure out a 410 here at Skagit. But once I got going, you know, I started working the top side and I could hit it, and I got a run off of turn 4 and I was right above that white 44 car, and I was hoping he wouldn't choose to go to the top because he was kind of trying different lanes and he tried to go to the high side. I was there, but he still had the spot. I kind of put my nose in a position and we ended up making some contact, so that was definitely not necessarily on him. And we made that contact and that kind of hurt something in my front end, but I could see that I didn't have a flat left front and my shocks were still hooked up. And the car still drove fairly good, so I was debating on maybe pulling in and having someone look at it, but I decided, you know what, I'm just going to be cautious and continue moving forward, and I moved my wing back to also help tighten it up because it did seem freer. And then I got going. I was just trying to run the high side, like I said, being pretty cautious, probably only going about 75%, and I got into 1 and 2 with just maybe 8 or 10 laps to go, and it seemed like I got in fine, but then, you know, maybe I just got upset in the center, and that's when the car stepped out and I just, you know, spun across the track, and that's where that same car that we got together with earlier in the race, you know, had nowhere to go. So obviously disappointing our night ended like that and that we tore up some equipment, but we already got started on repairs for tomorrow. We got a new front axle in the car, our spare, but we also have a lot of work to do in the morning. Our normal maintenance, we also have to get the welder out and actually re-weld a spud for the front bumper on the front rack and some other components to repair, so it definitely could have been a lot worse. Things could have also went better, but for our roller coaster of a night, I'm just glad it's over and we got our first night out of the way, and now we're ready for the rest of the weekend. But the Skagit track crew is already getting ready for night number 2 of the Sagefruit Skagit Nationals. It actually felt pretty solid there in the feature. It blew off very fast. There was a little bit on the bottom. You could also work up right by the fence. And they had an exciting finish between Sheldon Hodenshield and James McFadden. And man, these guys are able to run this place so hard. So that's definitely a goal of mine tomorrow, to drive the race car harder. And also where I feel more confident is we have a better baseline and idea of how to start tomorrow. So big shout out to my crew for never giving up. As I mentioned, tonight was a little bit of a roller coaster. We had a lot of things, you know, go against us, but we kept our heads down, we kept working, and even though we didn't get the result we wanted, you know, we are ready for the rest of the weekend, as I said. But before we end this video, I just want to say thank you to you guys for your support, following along with our journey through the ups and the downs, and still being behind me, as well as all my sponsors: Next Gen Def, Carson Oil, Fast 4 Media, OMA KTM, QRC, Lafarge, Pit Stop USA, On-Site Screeners, Earth It Environmental. We also have ABC Powder Coating, Durango RV, Ferguson Waterworks, Swindale Speed Lab, and CS Designs. So that is going to wrap up night number 1. So I'm going to finish buttoning up the trailer, but I guess to end it, first night with the World of Outlaws, not exactly what I thought it was gonna be, but man, still a dream come true. I mean, racing with Donnie Schatz, who has over 300 World of Outlaw wins, 2-time champion Brad Sweet, David Gravel. I mentioned McFadden, Hodenshield, just to be in the atmosphere with all the rigs. Dad just shut off the lights on us, but just being in the atmosphere with the greatest show on dirt, as I said, a dream come true, something I'm so glad to say I was able to do. And also, like I mentioned, 3 more more nights ahead of me with the greatest show on dirt. So we're going to be getting after it. Thank you guys for watching and having my back. Let's make night 2 better than night number 1. See you guys all there. Deuces.